As Jeline Hernandez paced back and forth in her opulent but empty mansion, Thesidy's bright lights flickered, casting an eerie glow on the skyline. Her success was demonstrated by the expensive furniture and artwork that lined the walls of her living room, but tonight, nothing could soothe her. Her mind was racing with a million ideas. Each one was more sinister than the last, and the news she had just learned had completely upended her world. It had all begun just days before when Jin's life appeared. Toby going. Well, she had a career, a daughter, and a man who had supported her through thick and thin. The producer she'd been romantically involved with, Ballistic Beats, had always been there to support her endeavors, including making music together and even posting glimpses of their personal lives on social media. However, despite their love, their relationship was far from perfect. There were reports of friction and uncertainties about their relationship, but nothing could have prepared her for the heartbreaking news that suddenly hit like a ton of bricks late one night. Jo S. was browsing through her phone, something she had done countless times before, when a text message appeared that completely stopped her cold. It was not from Ballistic, a friend, or even an anonymous source. It was just the heartbreaking truth about Ballistic's younger girlfriend was expecting a child, no matter how many times she read the words. Her hands trembled as though she could somehow will the message to vanish. However, the harsh reality remained the same. Her man had gotten another woman pregnant by someone younger, someone she did not even know existed, and the mere thought of it sent her into a downward spiral. The notion not only the other lady was what made the betrayal seem like a kick to the gut that he had concealed from her, the false and deceit that had grown between them. The news destroyed her perception of their relationship, and the night was quiet. Except for her own frantic noise, Joseline had always been a woman who valued honesty, loyalty, and respect. And this was a violation of all three. How could he, Ballistic, the man she had invested so much of herself in, the man who had promised her the world, betrayed her? Like this, her mind was racing with of confrontation. Words she would throw at them and the chaos she would unleash. She was going to make him pay for the betrayal, which was not just about Achilde. It was about her pride, her trust, and her heart. As the hours went by, her anger only grew stronger, and her social media posts were filled with cryptic messages that practically screamed she lost control of her emotions as a result of the internal tempest she was fighting. The betrayal had sparked something deep inside of her in the quiet of her home. She sat on her plush sofa and stared at the phone in her hand as if calling him would somehow make things better. Primal and raw, she had always been an open book and not afraid to speak her mind button. Her words would be sharper, louder, nothing would improve it, but it would be clearer when she finally hits in and caught him. Her hands tremble with emotion. Ballistic's voice sounded distant, almost oblivious to the storm that was billing on the other end of the line. When Joseline finally heard his voice, it felt like a slap of Harold-ready broken heart. She did not give him much time to say anything before she exploded, shouting into the phone, "How could you do this to me, Ballistic?" There was a long pause before he answered, but his words did little to calm the storm inside. He tried to explain and apologize, but Joseline was beyond comprehension. The lies, the secrecy, and the betrayal were too much for her to handle. Her voice was shaking with anger and hurt. "After everything we have been through, after everything I have done for you, and you have a whole other girl pregnant, and you thought I would not find out." The betrayal was not only about a mistake, it was about trust being broken, about the future they had once dreamed of together, collapsing before her eyes as the call came to an end, and she was always playing games, and now this baby had a whole new existence. The truth had been revealed, and Joseline slumped back with the weight of the world on her shoulders. The woman who had once loved him passionately would never be the same. Again, she discovered that although their relationship was finished, the harm would not go away. She smells like water, and somebody needs to tell BLN on the JN situation. Okay, so I'm going to fill you guys in on that, whether they like it or not, because I just think it's necessary. Y'all notice I didn't say too much, cuz, you know, when my money be on the line, I know how to hold water, okay? When my money be on the line, I know that's when I know how to hold water. If you don't want me to tell your business, you need to give me a check and tell me don't tell my business. Okay, so what had happened was I hit a soft spot, unintentionally. I hit a soft spot because it thought she was adorable. And, you know, and just a ball of fun at the beginning. I didn't have nothing against her but you if you pay attention. She was throwing like little subliminal, I don't like people to do me too much like that. I don't know how to be quiet and be like, I don't know how to do the P. What is you talking about get? To the point, so she didn't like that I hit a soft spot because she said something about the Beatties and they didn't put it in there because I guess that's what she wanted. But if she should have let the whole thing play out and it made it look like I just came for her, but no, she got mad about the baddies or tried to put them down in some way. And it wasn't in there at all. I had so many people that was on set with me who said what happened to that part. That's the part that made y'all go left. And so, yeah, she must said I said take my out. But anyway, that's, what happened when you got, a little bit of stake in the company. That's okay. I respect that your underarms stink. I just think you're thinking. I told her that. But they ain't put that on there either. But that's just what it was her. That's her network. I get it. And a couple years after I've been there for a while, maybe we could play there. Don't you touch me. I don't care, man. Don't you touch me. Go stop resisting, stop. The drama-filled life of Joseline Hernandez and her Fian Ballistic beats, also known as Robin and Duma, is becoming utterly chaotic, according to recent rumors. Ballistic broke up with Joseline and went on to someone else. This could be a plot twist. But wait. It gets more interesting. Ballistic is not holding back, according to rumors. He called out Joel for being unclean and, to put it mildly, stinky. We are not sure if these accusations are true, but this is not the first time that their hygiene has come under scrutiny. In fact, several people, including Carissa, have come after her in the past, repeating the same charges. Being dumped over something like that is a difficult pill to swallow. The drama is intense, and you can bet we will be watching this story closely. Friend stinks. She smells like mob's water, and somebody needs to win. Joseline Hernandez and Ballistic Beats made their Instagram official in April 2019. Everything seemed to beat picture perfect. Ballistic is a gifted music producer, and in addition to making music together, they were also very popular on reality TV, appearing in shows like Joline's Caburn and Love and Hip Hop Miami Marriage Boot Camp. By September of the same year, they were promised loyalty, love, and everything in between when Shedhead about him in a heartfelt birthday post, calling him the sweetest man and asking him to spend the rest of his natural life with me. However, things have taken a drastic turn for the worst, and now Ballistic is allegedly moving on and exposing Joseline's dirty laundry. This situation is literally getting out of control. Regardless of the veracity of these hygiene accusations, the breakup has undoubtedly drawn attention, and let us face it, Joseline needs to clean up both literally and figuratively. Additionally, if anyone believes they can get away with it, they must be living under a rock, because everyone, including their mother, is aware that Joseline does not play corrals. Truly believed she could drag Joseline's hygiene through the mud and avoid catching these hands. But what is even more outrageous is that Carissa is not the first to spill the tea on Joseline's alleged funk. Do not get it twisted. I am not saying Carissa was right for being messy, but perhaps Joseline should think about some solutions rather than bowing every time someone makes a suggestion about it. Let us face it, nobody can be telling the same lie. And this whole shady story began only a few days ago when Joseline made as you might expect, Tokyo Tanitiak, who made a cameo appearance on the Anti podcast. You could feel a tension building like a kettle on the verge of boiling, and Carissa was not holding back when she shredded in the air. Her voice was thicker than a pot of gumbo. Sis came in full force, accusing Carissa of being a sour old woman and outright saying that she was jealous, because in contrast to Carissa's dusty dreams, Joseline is at least 20 years younger and has receipts for days. But no, Joseline did not stop. There she boasted about how she is making millions of dollars for Z's network and making young girls famous, while Carissa's son is sitting up in jail. Talk about a low blow. Then came there, I'll twist, Joseline called out as Shet twisted Ed the knife. This showdown is just getting started, and I am excited to see how it plays out. Carissa's funky breath and her incapacity to dress to save her life caused baby Jean to act like it was a family reunion, and Carissa just sat there taking it. We too grown for this, people boundaries and right, and that's what I'm saying. People need to learn how to respect each other. It's okay. Why the aunties and the team? You came out here respectable. I was expecting you to come out here like, oh, ready on go. I brought you flowers, I brought you a gift, and then you got this crusty old lady sitting up here talking. Hold on, T, come on, auntie, hold on, she's very disrespectful. I came out here with gifts, I haven't even gave you the gifts. I came out here with flowers, I'm congratulating you. Thank you for having me. You know how much money I made Sue Network do. I was the outside of your daughter. I was the only other one. Me. She didn't do girl, but go ahead. And your show. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, like, come on, like, she can't talk to me like that respect. And this is the thing. I've done a lot in the industry. We ain't never heard of her doing nothing. She's sitting up here, no, wait. She see up here a jealous of a younger, I'm 20 years your junior. Relax, 30 relax, while you doing all of that, sip the tea, and keep it cute, cause one thing about me, I'm respectful. I give young L ladies opportunities. I didn't have nobody telling me how to do what to do. I put my ladies to work. They go on a successful tower. My charm is going successful tour. Every season after we film. Cause this is every successful. We got packed shows sitting up here talking to a queen. You is a pant to me, why you? Like speck in the air to me, you eat my face talking to my face with your stinky breath. Your breath more like dookie go your teeth and your tongue. Damn, and you sit up here looking raggedy. Why y'all let this nasty up here with the outfit on y'all look? Good, y'all got stylist and y'all let your friends sit up here look stylist. I sty as a friend. Well, I sty if you are going to. I didn't give her outfit before. Well, if you do want people to come here and have a good time, she needs to understand that as bounder is to be set. You cannot just have a fun time. This is TE. You see that here trying to down me with a knife interview, 14220. It was undoubtedly a humiliating moment for Carissa, but she was not going to let Joseline have the last word a few days after the dubious interview. Went viral, Carissa went live on Instagram, and wow, she had a lot to say. She lacked the bravery to confront Joseline in person during the interview, but she discovered her voice behind. That screen, Carissa Latit all hang out claiming that Joseline had a funky coup and revealed that she'd forced the producers to snip portions of the interviews so that it appeared as though Carissa was suddenly pursuing her, according to Carissa, when Joseline initially walked into that wacky room. After a minute, it became evident that the scent was coming directly from Joel's private area. The shade was real, and this Saba is not over yet, so grab some popcorn because this trauma is getting hotter. First, everyone assumed the aroma was coming from one of the cameramen who simply did not know what soap was heating up Ellen on the gin situation. Okay, so I'm going to fill you guys in on that whether they like it or not, because I just think it's necessary y'all notice. I didn't say too much cause when my money be on the line. I know how to hold water. Okay, when my money be on the line, I know that's when. I know how to hold water. If you don't want me to tell your business, you need to give me a check and tell me don't tell my business. Okay, so what had happened was I hit a soft spot. Unintentionally, I hit a soft spot because it thought she was adorable, And just a ball of fun at the beginning. I didn't have nothing against her. But if you pay attention, she was throwing like little subliminal. I don't like people to do me too much like that. I don't know how to be quiet and be like, I don't know how to do the fake what is you talking about. Get to the point. So she didn't like that I hit a soft spot because she said something about the baddies and they didn't put it in there because I guess that's what she wanted, but if she should have let the whole thing play out and it made it look like I just came for her, but no, she got mad about the baddies or tried to put them down in some way, and it wasn't in there. At all, I had so many people that was on set with me who said what happened to that part, that's the part that made y'all go left, and so yeah, she must have said take my out, but anyway, that's, what happened when you got, a little bit of stake in the company, that's okay, I respect that your underarms stink. I just think you're stink, and I told her that, but they ain't put that on there either. But that's just what it was her. That's her network. I get it in a couple years after I've been there for a while. Maybe we could play the real I said, my lord, ain't nobody this damn fine smell this funky. I'm had to myself, like, oh, come on, baby, it's a whole lot of man in here. Everybody think it's looking at each other. It's harassed Tia, no Tia SM. We all smelt her. We thought it was Tokyo, but it was Tia 'cause Tokyo. Don't look like she go to the dentist. Not never, ever, okay? I don't. If nobody say that mother never been to the dentist, I bet you. If we ask her dentist, she going to tell you right now. Allah, it ain't no dentist available, girl. Yeah, Jeannie going to try to say my breath stink knowing I was her mother naturally. This caused a commotion. On the streets, as some remarked that Carissa ought to have maintained the same enthusiasm when seated across from Joseline, rather than waiting to go viral online respectfully. If you've ever been around Joseline, you know this. But it's not tea because Joseline will tell you she doesn't wear Dior for environmental reasons. So noting and thinking you embarrassed her is pointless because she already knows another person said now, that I heard Kissa's side and I watched the playback of the show. Kissa was blanking and looking like something funky LO, but hold on. This trauma train was not going to stop anytime soon. People quickly reminded everyone that this was not the first time that Joseline had been accused of having a slightly strange sense, and they began interrogating her. Repeatedly, they said that instead of attacking anyone who dared to bring up her little funk situation, Joseline might want to look into some personal care advice, and Carissa could not avoid it. Carissa was really out. Here dabbling down on the drama, making sure to squeeze every last bit of messiness out of this whole ordeal. She claimed they are getting these BBLs and forgetting they hold funk. The first time Joseline's alleged hygiene issues hit the news, she was feeling particularly courageous and slid into the comments, throwing even more shade and accusing Joseline of having a BBL on top of everything. When she and K. Michelle were at ODS in 2017, streets were in her petty bag. Joseline chose to come clean by bringing up the awkward incident in which rapper Uncle Murder claimed that K. Michelle was having a sank situation to help K. Michelle deal with that funk just post line, even went into great detail about home remedies in our interview.